number 77, VTR 10466, air 101166, take two.
My name is Victoria Winters. The battle over Collinwood has been joined, either for or against. Yet it isn't always an easy decision, for some more difficult than for others.
Mother,
What is it, darling?
I've been thinking about Burke.
I was afraid of that.
What I mean is, after Burke made it so clear that he was out to destroy us, I got to thinking back on other things he said to me. Like the time we had lunch in Bangor and I met his friend, Mr. Blair.
I remember.
I didn't know what he was really like then. When he introduced me to Mr. Blair, he said he was an old swindler who was in cahoots with him to defraud you of everything.
Burke said that?
Naturally, I thought he was kidding. I laughed at it.
Probably the truth, but he said it in such a way that you wouldn't believe him.
I guess I was pretty foolish.
You were flattered by his attention. And I must say, I can't blame you. If I could forget about what Burke was trying to do to us, I think I'd find him very attractive.
That's what makes it so tough. I still think he's terribly attractive.
Darling, he still is, only his plans aren't.
That's what I've been thinking about. His plans.
Well, I think he made it perfectly clear. He wants to have everything we own.
Exactly. But does he want to own us, too?
What do you mean by that?
Well, when I went to his hotel room, I found David there. What was David doing in Burke's room?
What were you doing then?
You mean, what was I doing in Burke's hotel room?
Yes. You questioned David being there. I want to know why you were there.
Oh. I went to tell him I never expected to see him again.
Wouldn't it have been simpler just not to see him again?
No, I couldn't do that. I had to tell him. I wanted him to know how I felt, and I was hoping that it might make him change his mind about the way he felt about the family. Oh, Mother, I couldn't fool Burke for a second. He knew exactly why I came up there.
Well, exactly why did you go there?
I guess I was mad. I knew he drove Vicky home yesterday.
Oh?
I just got jealous.
Darling, how could you be jealous of someone you plan never to see again?
I know. I just don't understand my own feelings. I don't know why I chase after Burke, except that he's... I don't know. Mysterious.
And mysteries are intriguing.
Yes. I know it sounds crazy.
I think I understand.
Do you?
Many, many years ago, a stranger came to Collinford. He was mysterious, like all strangers are, because you know nothing of the past. And that's where the mystery lies. He was very glib, this man, and had a way with him.
What happened?
I married him. He was your father, Paul Stoddard.
Did you love my father?
Yes, I loved him.
Mother, you've never told me very much about him. What was your life together like?
Our life together was nothing. I hope you're not going to see any more of Burke Devlin.
No, Mother. I'm not.
And now, would you mind seeing if David's in his room? I'd like to talk to him. I might as well straighten him out about Bert, too.
Okay.
Matthew, did you ever have any very serious problems?
I've had many of them.
What if it was something you couldn't make up your mind about?
You try to do the right thing.
But what if you don't know what's right?
You're fortunate. You have a wonderful aunt. You can get her advice.
Part of my problem.
A man or a boy can't live with divided loyalties. He has to make a choice. You got to decide which side you're on and then stick to it no matter what happens.
But what if there are two people involved and you like them both?
You have to choose.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do. Burke Devlin and Miss Stoddard.
How did you know? I didn't talk about it.
Sometimes a person can learn a lot from the questions they're asked. You asked me a lot about Burke Devlin.
You know, Matthew, you're smart.
Nobody ever accused me of that before. But I listen a lot. And I hear a lot. And I tell you one thing. A long time ago, I chose to be loyal to Miss Stoddard, and I've never had cause to regret it.
Would you even give up a good friend for her?
I would. I'd do anything for her.
How about for me?
For you, too. I thought Miss Stoddard wanted me to.
He even gave me a picture of himself. It's a picture of Burke at his first oil strike.
Devlin gave you that?
Yes. Oh, no, not exactly. I borrowed it. But he'd want me to have it.
No doubt.
David, Mother would like to see you in the drawing room.
What about?
Go and ask her. But if you want a hint, it's about your visit to Burke.
You had to go and tell everybody.
She already knew.
Sure, because when we were there, you called and told everybody where we were.
David, the last time you did that, you had us worried sick about you. We almost called the police.
For me?
Mm-hmm. We thought something had happened to you.
Why didn't you call them? I might have even gotten a ride home in a police car.
If I remember correctly, Mr. Devlin drove you home.
You're right. And that was better than any old police car.
I wouldn't have anything to do with him if I was you, miss.
David? Why not?
Burke Devlin. He's a dangerous man. He's like a wounded tiger. Even an experienced hunter won't go after a wounded tiger.
Is that all right? A tiger.
Aunt Elizabeth, you wanted to see me?
Yes, David. Come here and sit down. I want to talk to you about Burke.
Burke. Oh, I haven't given him much thought for a long time.
I know we've discussed this before, but the situation has changed a lot since then.
How?
Burke has declared open war on the Collins family.
Not on me, he hasn't.
You're a Collins, David.
But Burke's my friend.
He might want you to think he is, but his actions prove that he isn't.
He even gave me a present.
I'm afraid that was in the nature of a bribe.
No, it wasn't. Burke wouldn't have to bribe me to do anything.
Why do you think so much of him, David?
I like him. He's my friend.
Do you think your friend would come here and tell me he intends to take away the cannery, the fishing fleet, and all of Collinwood?
I can't believe it.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
Then you must believe me when I say that Burke Devlin wants to gain possession of everything we own. He wants to get it any way he can.
But he wouldn't.
Darling, you said you trusted me. Then you must believe what I say. You're either for me or against me, David.
Something, Miss Carolyn?
What?
Did you lose something?
Oh. Yes, I thought David might have taken it, accidentally. Wasn't anything important. Photograph.
Of Burke Devlin.
No. Yes. How did you know?
David showed it to me a while back. He said he borrowed it.
Borrowed it? I wonder if he took anything else.
Why don't you wait till he comes back and ask him?
Ask David? He couldn't tell the truth if his life depended on it.
He wouldn't lie to you, Miss Carolyn. You're part of the same family.
That doesn't matter to David.
Family's all that does matter.
Not to David. I think Burke Devlin is more important to him.
No. Somebody ought to tell him.
You can't tell David anything.
Somebody's got to tell him Devlin only wants to hurt Miss Stoddart.
Not just Mother. Burke Devlin wants to hurt the entire Collins family.
What do you mean?
That's why he came here today, Matthew. To issue an ultimatum, to warn us, to say we'd all be out in the streets before long. You see, Mr. Devlin isn't satisfied with the verdict handed down by the coroner.
It's the law.
Burke makes his own laws. He isn't convinced that Mr. Malloy drowned accidentally. He thinks somebody killed him.
But he's wrong.
Of course he's wrong. But don't forget, Matthew, you yourself said he's a wounded tiger. And who's going to go into the brush after a wounded tiger and say, sorry, it was all a mistake?
David, did you understand what I just said?
Sure. You wanted to know whether I'm for you. Well, you know I am, Aunt Elizabeth.
That wasn't all of it, David. I want you to promise me never to see Burke Devlin again. Will you promise that?
No, I won't.
Why, David?
I told you, Aunt Elizabeth. He's the only friend I have.
He isn't your friend.
I think he is.
What if I insist that you don't see him again?
Is that why you hired a new housekeeper?
How did you know about that?
You're going to hire Mrs. Johnson to be my jailer.
She's not going to be anything of the sort. Besides, I'm only thinking about engaging her.
But why? Why do you even have to think about it?
But, darling, if I have someone like Miss Johnson to take care of the house, I'll have much more time to devote to you.
Why do you need more time to look after me?
Because I love you.
Oh. I thought maybe it was because you wanted to watch me.
Why? Why would I want to watch you? Sit down, David. You once told me you cared for me.
Well, I do.
Well, if you do, then you'll do as I ask and not see Burke again.
I'll have to think about it.
What's there to think about?
It's the same thing as you having to think about hiring Mrs. Johnson to be my jailer.
David.
something.
No, you weren't. You were searching my room.
Where did you get this?
Where did you get it? It's mine.
How did it come to be yours?
It was a present.
I think you stole it.
I didn't.
Don't you think Burke is going to notice it's missing?
He wouldn't mind. He'd want me to have it.
Then you did steal it.
No, I just borrowed it.
Mm-hmm. What else did you borrow from Burke's room while he wasn't looking?
Nothing. I didn't steal that picture either. You can ask Burke.
I have no intention of asking Burke anything.
He'll tell you. He'll tell you I didn't steal it.
Well, David, you're such close friends. I'm sure he'd say anything you asked him to.
The reason why you're saying that is because you're jealous. He likes me better.
Don't be ridiculous. What possible difference would that make to me? If you want to know, he gave me a much more valuable present than a picture.
I don't believe you. What did he give you?
None of your business.
Where is it?
It's put away somewhere where you can't find it. You'd probably steal that, too.
I wouldn't either. And it isn't stealing when you just borrow something to look at it for a while. I was going to give it back to him, but he still would probably tell me to keep it.
I have no intention of discussing Burke Devlin with you or with anybody else.
Then why are you making such a big fuss about the picture?
Because I think it was wrong of you to take it from him.
Then it's just as wrong as you to take it from me.
Oh, for heaven's sake, take it back.
Anyway, I think he likes Miss Winters best anyway.
What do you know about that?
I can tell.
Did he say something to you?
He doesn't have to. We understand each other.
He must have said something. Oh, you're just making that up anyway.
I thought you didn't even want to talk about it.
I don't. What did he say?
Nothing.
Excuse me, but the drawer's all fixed now.
Oh, thanks, Matthew.
Maybe it ain't my place to say it, but you two ought to be ashamed. Arguing over a man who was doing his best to destroy Collinwood.
We were not arguing over him.
Anyway, she started it. She tried to accuse me of stealing that picture.
You shouldn't have it anyway.
You're just... Well, if Burke gave it to me...
You leave Burke out of this.
How can you leave Burke out of this? He's the most important thing there is.
Come in.
Excuse me, Miss Stoddard.
What is it, Matthew?
It's David and Carolyn.
What have they done now?
They're arguing.
Again?
Yes, ma'am, but what I don't like is it's Burke Devlin they're arguing about.
I see.
If you ask me, it's part of his plan to set one member of the family against the other. I don't think there's anything he wouldn't do to get his way.
I suppose he has been deliberately trying to win David over. And of course, it would account for his being so attentive to Carolyn.
Even giving her presents.
Presents? What presents?
She didn't say. But she shouldn't take presents from him, knowing what he's after.
Thank you, Matthew. I'll see what I can do.
Aunt Elizabeth, would you please tell Carolyn to stop going through my things? She's messing everything up.
Oh, Mother, it wasn't anything like that.
She's lying.
I am not lying.
You're a liar and a thief.
Now stop it, both of you. Be quiet. Now tell me what this is all about, one at a time. What is it, David?
She came into my room and started looking through everything.
For what?
Tell her for what?
I had a picture of Burke Devlin, and she tried to take it away from me.
I was looking to see if he had any other mementos hidden away.
Why didn't you ask him?
I should have. I'm sorry. I apologize, David.
You apologize to Carolyn.
What for? Just because Burke gave me a picture?
David, I don't want you to mention his name in this house again. Is that clear?
Yes, Aunt Elizabeth.
You can go to your room.
Burke Devlin. Burke Devlin. Burke Devlin!
Robert Goulet and Sally Ann Howe star in Brigadoon, a color special, Saturday night here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.